Israel and militants in the Gaza Strip have been exchanging rocket fire for a third day. It's the biggest escalation in violence in the region for over a year. Hundreds of civilians in Gaza have been injured, and at least 31 people have been killed, including several children. Israel says it launched the attacks in response to an imminent threat from the Palestinian Islamic Jihad group. Two of the group's leaders have been killed in the strikes. Crowds are visiting the Temple Mount in Jerusalem, marking a holy day in the Jewish calendar, but it's sparking fears of an escalation.
At this hospital morgue, distraught relatives collapse with grief as they find the bodies of their children. Palestinian health authorities have blamed their deaths in Jabalia in northern Gaza on Israeli aggression. But Israel says a stray rocket fired from Gaza was responsible. The strike is one of hundreds, as both sides trade blows. Like past conflicts, it is the people living in the Palestinian territory who are suffering most. Dozens have been killed and hundreds injured, and homes destroyed.
They hit the house with 5 or 6 rockets. There were body parts on the ground. It was horrifying. They target helpless people who think they are safe in their homes. They target children and the elderly. They don't show mercy. And who can we complain to?
Israel launched the strikes as part of what it calls a preemptive operation against imminent attacks from the Palestinian militant group Islamic Jihad. 2 of the group's most senior leaders in Gaza have since been killed, and dozens of alleged members arrested in the West Bank. Palestinian militants have been firing back into southern Israel. For the first time in over a year, air raid sirens were heard in Jerusalem, where pilgrims are visiting the Temple Mount for Tisha B'Av, a holy day in the Jewish calendar. The site is also home to the Al-Aqsa Mosque, a point of conflict between the two sides that could escalate tensions even further.
I'm joined on the line now by Hazem Balusha, who's a journalist based in Gaza. Hello, Hazem. Now, welcome again to DW News. We spoke yesterday when the violence was intensifying. What's it looking like today?
It's kind of a similar. More airstrikes, more rockets out of Gaza into the Israeli cities, more casualties. Number is increasing. Tens of casualties in Gaza. The crisis is deepened. There is no electricity, barely 4 hours a day, as the main power station is shut down. The Ministry of Health is complaining about that 48 hours that their services would be suspended due to the lack of electricity. Municipalities held a press conference today, and they said that their services supplying waters to the houses would be affected because of the lack of electricity.
Now, since Friday, when the violence began, 2 senior commanders from the group Islamic Jihad have been killed. Tell us how important that is.
Well, Islamic Jihad has what's so-called a military council. It's a consensus of 10 members. 2 of them were killed. The first one was in the first strike on a Friday. Taysir al-Jabari, he's the northern commander of Al-Quds brigades. And last night or early morning, the second guy, Khalid Mansour, who was killed as well in an Israeli airstrike. 2 seniors from the Islamic Jihad were killed. We are talking about 10 members. It is important, and this council is headed by a senior Islamic Jihad who is based in Beirut, Akram al-Ajuri. Israel was trying to assassinate him in the previous time. This is significant, and this is a bad sign for Islamic Jihad that they were exposed to the Israeli intelligence.
And what about Hamas, the group ruling Gaza? They've been on the sidelines. Do we expect them to step in at some point?
It seems that, I mean, we can't expect what's going to happen 100%, but it's clearly that from the day when Hamas decided to stay aside and not to be involved in this confrontation with Israel and let the lead for the Islamic Jihad, all the statements came out from Hamas, and the latest one was from the top leader of Hamas, Ismail Haniyeh, just shortly, and said that they are involved in efforts to restore ceasefire and to stop what they call it the Israeli aggression against Palestinian people in Gaza.
Okay. Hassan Balusha, journalist in Gaza, thank you for speaking to us.